Last night, you spent 2 hours deciding what to wear to the party. This morning, it'll take you 2 minutes to list it on Depop and make your money back. Just grab your phone, snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. The sheer dress and platform heels you'll never wear again? There's a birthday girl searching for them right now. Your one and done look is about to pay for your next night out. Or at least the ride home. Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Welcome to Crime Besties. We're here for another episode and another week of recording. Meg, as always, how are you? How's it been? What's been going on?
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah.
It has. It's really been a week. I've had a really lovely family getaway last weekend and stuff, and getting back into things this week. It's been it's been a hectic week. Actually this week, because it was slightly shorter for me, having had a little bit of a getaway, I'm feeling a little bit like it's fucking Friday. When did this happen?
Yeah, I know. I feel like that, and I didn't have the extended weekend. Probably we need to do a bit of a shout out to Pat.
Oh,
happy birthday, Pat!
Happy 80th birthday. We're going to make sure you get the 80th.
Oh yeah, sorry.
She
happy
loves
80th, Pat. Yeah. Massive shout out to your mum.
Absolutely. So it was a big weekend of hilarity and drinking.
Wine?
And,
yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that.
And beach, so perfect weather. It was so good.
Yeah, because it wasn't too hot, but it was nice.
No, it was like you could sit on the beach all day weather. Like it was really
lovely.
good.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. I think everyone enjoyed it. The kids had an absolute ball, and they love spending time with their cousins. So couldn't get them off the trampoline. So Uncle Andy has to get one for his niece, for my niece. Like it's just stop being an a-hole.
Yeah, come on, Uncle Andy. I mean, yeah, do it. For goodness sake.
Do it.
Just do it, all right?
Trampoline.
Oh, I love it. I didn't have quite the weekend you had, but I did want to talk to you about something. Have you watched the Heather Gay Surviving Mormonism doco?
I have watched.
There's 3 episodes.
Oh, maybe I have then. No, I have watched all 3 then.
And
in that case,
what did you think?
It was very interesting.
I thought the same thing.
And she's not one of my faves on that
she's
series.
one of my absolute faves, which you love her. Yeah, I love her.
But I saw a different side of her in that I like that side of her. That's that side of her I really do actually like and relate to. And whereas who she is in that series, sometimes I just find that she stirs shit for no reason.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's what makes her so good, to be honest.
Yeah, but she's backstabby and not be upfront about it. So I don't like that side of her. But in that note, I think she's really she was compassionate. She acknowledges her own flaws in the situations, that sort of stuff. That I just found that really compelling.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to – I mean, I wanted to watch it because I really do like her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting her to be so frank about a lot of the things.
No, that's so true. Yeah. I actually feel the same way because I feel like she can dodge things and not –
yeah.
I feel like with that whole I know she's written a book and all these sorts of things, but I actually find sometimes I kind of go – you're not telling us everything.
Yeah.
But I haven't read her book, so maybe it's all in there and she didn't want to put it out on the show. I get that. You're trying to sell a book. But, in that I found that she was very open with everything.
Yeah.
It was
highly
really
recommend
good.
if you're into it and you want to know a bit more about the dark side of Mormonism.
This is it. I mean, I bring it straight back to that. It is crime orientated in that sense. I do. It's very much
cult.
so.
It's like a cult.
And this is what she talks about. I think any
it's not even
religion's a cult. But anyway.
Yeah.
Controversial. So I think that it really does talk a lot about a lot of crime that has been committed by the Mormon Church and people within the Mormon Church that people have been impacted. And so, it's a very It's very interesting.
really enlightening watch if that's something that interests you at all.
Yeah, and
Now,
not like, and I just have to say, if you're not into Real Housewives, still watch this. I think it's not.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to know anything about the
No,
Housewives.
absolutely. That's just who she is on the other side of her life, I guess. But yeah, this is actually, I think, who she really is.
Yeah.
Like, and what she, the activism that she wants to do. Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. The other thing that's going on at the minute are the Winter Olympics. Favourite sport, go.
Oh, so many.
It's the curling, isn't it?
It's up there. But I do love the one where like the knees go, like the
moguls. Okay.
The mogul. But there's another one. What's it
it's
called?
the moguls where their knees go up and down.
Yeah, but it's like
I'm pretty sure that's the moguls.
No, there's another
I was
one,
watching it in
Anyway.
slow-mo, the moguls, and I'm like, how the fuck are their knees not busting every time they hit one of those little bumpy things?
I know.
Like I look at that and my knees ache.
Yes.
Like, how do these people survive this shit? But
I know.
Also, what happened? Did you see the Channel 9 news reporter who did the drunk cross?
I have only seen the apologies since. So
you need to go and actually watch the video.
I need to desperately.
Danica Mason is the reporter,
That's her,
and
yep.
what she says is that she's slurring. She is just on another planet.
Who let her on?
when she's doing this cross? Oh, she was just talking about like the weather and where they are, and she's like, oh, and it's just like so, and she's slurring her words.
Oh, I love it.
And then the apology. This I just thought was absolutely hilarious. Where she's like, oh, it's the altitude and the cold,
and I didn't have dinner.
and I didn't have dinner, and I'm like, it might have actually been the 2 bottles of wine you consumed before you went live on air. I don't know.
And the thing is, she's apologising to Carl Stefanovic, who's done the exact same shit.
The irony.
I think he says something like, we've all been there.
Yeah. Carl's nothing if not someone to be self-deprecate. So, so that's funny. But getting back to the winter sports, I just cannot believe how well Australia is actually doing.
Yeah.
Like, you see our winter athletes practicing on, not even snow, but on boards and into
Swimming
lakes
pools
and pools, and
Yeah.
you think, fucking hell, they're doing so well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we do have some pretty good snowfields here at particular times of the years and
Yeah,
things, but
that's true.
it's not a lot. I mean, there's like the girl who lives down in Ocean Grove here in
know.
Victoria. You think how far away she is from a ski slope, and she's incredible.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Just obviously a natural talent there, and
Yeah.
obviously hours and hours and hours.
Intrigued throughout it though how the commentators made many reference to it around the fact of majority of our athletes who are at the Winter Olympics come from very wealthy families.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Yeah, and there's like the odd ones where they make sure they mention it when it happens. It's like, this kid started doing this through, school camps and stuff,
Yeah.
He's come from literally not from money, and he's made it through, or something like that it's really interesting to see. But
yeah. But I mean, it's in Australia, it is so expensive to ski. It's ridiculous. It's prohibitively
it's the rich man's
expensive.
sport here.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
I do have some shout outs for today as well.
Yeah, we've had a busy week.
We've had a very busy week. So we've got a few new Patreons, Charmaine McNally, Rebecca Devine, Lauren and Justin Ware. And then we also had a coffee bought for us by Crystal. So thank you to everybody for supporting us. It truly means so much. I just can't. We say it every time. It still blows my mind whenever we get somebody, pop something through. And our Patreon community is growing.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that. I love the engagement over there. We get some lovely little likes and comments, and we really, truly appreciate that. So thank you, everybody who supports us, even just for listening.
Oh,
Thank
this is
you.
it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our listens at the moment are really escalating as well. So I think we've had a beautiful message just yesterday. I think it was, and I cannot think of the person's name, and I will find it and I will mention it next week maybe on that episode, but a really beautiful message from someone saying how she's been telling all of her friends and family about us, which is just amazing. So
Yeah.
I love hearing those comments, and that's the best thing you can do for us is mention us to someone else, because it grows the podcast and all
Definitely.
that helps. So that is so good, and it's great that people are enjoying it.
That's it.
It's not just us two in a vacuum.
We love that. We love that. Even though if we were in a vacuum, we'd probably still be doing this.
This is the thing. I love it. It's my Friday.
Good Friday. It's a good way to end the week.
It is.
Now, we are going to be discussing the Murdoch family murders and everything that goes before and after that, because it's such a massive, massive web of, oh my God, everything, we've decided to split it into 2 parts.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to be focusing on what happened before the family murders happened. And then next week we'll be focusing on everything that kind of happened from the family murders and onwards. I would imagine a lot of people know this story, even just having a little bit of an idea, only because the Netflix documentary or docuseries about this was really, really, really popular upon its release.
Yeah.
Because this story is fucking crazy.
Batshit crazy.
It's batshit crazy. And then also I think any story that involves really rich people is so intriguing.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Because, well, everyone's intrigued by their life, you know, in any way.
Like anyone who has access to that much money, you think, how do you live?
Yeah. And they do live
what's
a
it
very
like?
different life to the majority. I mean, you were talking about, you know,
Although we will get into this, I reckon, as we go along. But if I had their money, I wouldn't spend it the way they spent it.
Oh my God. Well, the drugs alone.
Drugs notwithstanding. No, I'm joking. But just I think it says a lot about, like, you know, they come from old money.
Yeah.
And
this is there's old money and new money are so different.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. And I think we need to probably keep that kind of theme going, because I think sometimes you look at things that they do, or I don't know, and you think, oh my God, but you've got so much money. Why didn't you just do this instead? But anyway.
Well, as many people say, you don't become that rich without being a tight ass.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah.
And they kind of lived that life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about, so you will see their name written. It's Murdaugh.
Yeah.
People pronounce it in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
They pronounce it Murdoch. So we are going to be pronouncing it Murdoch from here on out.
Yes.
I did look up like a Scottish pronunciation website, and it did also say Murdoch.
But you definitely hear plenty of people say Murdaugh. And I think people like the roll off the tongue of the Murders. You know, the murder.
Hold on, wait, what?
Murders. Like, yeah, so
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
But yeah, but no, they themselves, I have listened to many of police tape and all those sorts of things. They call themselves Murdoch. So I think that's what we need to go with.
Yeah.
The other one that we probably need to mention too then is Alec.
Yep.
His name is Alexander, it's Richard Alexander Murdoch, but he goes by Alec, not Alex.
However,
Alec.
everywhere you see it written, it's Alex. It's not like they write ALEC.
But, well, there's not a C in his name. There is an
No.
X. But, yeah, I don't know then why it's not Alex.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But they all
that's
call him Mr.
The
Alec.
least of the weird things about this family.
It's actually so true. This family is batshit crazy. So for over 100 years, we're talking, so this is set in the deep South, in
Yes.
South Carolina, Hampton County, South Carolina.
Can you do a Southern American accent for me?
Hell no.
I'm your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences. It's intoxicating.
The writers just know how to trick you.
There's always a twist in this show. It's nothing you would expect.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, now streaming, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Sorry. Can you?
Oh.
Just can't think of a phrase to actually do. This is
Go
set.
to the oyster. No, can't. No, can't do it. No,
You went,
I'm
you
going to go in
tried.
it.
I knew where you were going with this. We need to talk about that too. Anyway,
Same.
So we are talking about a family that is so well established in South Carolina, especially in Hampton County. They are over 100 years, 3 or more, 4 generations, was it?
I think they were up to the 4th.
Up to
at
the
this
4th
point.
with
with Alec.
Paul or
no,
Alec?
because there was 3 who
you're
had
right.
been
You're
solicitors,
absolutely right.
and then there was Alec, and then Buster. So we were coming into the 4th and 5th generations.
Yeah, okay. So the Alec's three predecessors, his ancestors, were what they call the county solicitor, which is the same thing in most other states in America as the district attorney, but they just call it the solicitor.
They just call it that. It's something different.
It is almost in South Carolina, it is pretty much an unpaid position. It is a position of privilege. And so most solicitors will actually then have a private practice as well, and that's how they have to make their money. So they are a family who is incredibly well known within the legal community and then in the community at large, because they are involved with all of like law enforcement and the legal fraternity and just within the community of Hampton County.
Yeah.
They are religious, I suppose, and they have lots, like most of the family units have lots of kids, and so there's lots of brothers and sisters and cousins, and you know it's a very large extended family.
There's a point where they there's a photo of like the family where Alec's father receives an award for basically his service to this solicitor role, and there's a whole family photo of them, which is not long before I think like the shit hits the fan basically with a lot of this stuff. Although this is ongoing from all parts, but the stuff that we're going to focus on. And so you see that family photo, and the amount of grandchildren is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, so there's 3 siblings. Like Alec is like, is he the youngest of the 3 or the middle?
No, I think he's
the
middle.
Sorry, so there's Randall, who's his older brother, and then the younger brother, John Marvin.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's only 3 siblings there, but the 3 of them seem to have. I mean, I think Alec only having 2 kids is kind of the weird one. Like, you know, the others seem to have 10,000 children. They all came out of nowhere.
Yeah. There's a whole cast of characters in this story, so I thought maybe we could introduce a few of them so people kind of have a little bit of context as to who we're talking about, and then
I may need to try and put together a bit of a family tree on the socials for everyone, because it does get kind of complicated.
It does get kind of complicated.
Yeah.
So I think we'll talk about it from Alex, starting with Alex.
Yeah.
So he was this nuclear family's patriarch. Wow, he was very high-powered. And when I say that, the solicitor role, while it didn't carry a huge financial incentive or a huge financial gain, it certainly gave a lot of power and a lot of influence. And he absolutely used that to his advantage.
Yes.
He was described as a lawyer with a silver tongue, like he had the gift of the gab. And he had that sort of good old boy South Carolina charm, you know.
There you go. You got
Thank
it.
you.
But he had a very unusual voice in general, I find.
Yes.
Which comes into play a little bit, like the fact of how distinct his voice is.
His voice is very distinctive.
Yeah.
It's very kind of – it's not commanding like you would expect
No.
somebody in that
'cause
kind of position to be.
When you describe him as having this silver tongue, you kind of then get this like, I don't know, this sound in your voice of like, I mean, a southern, as you say, it can be very charming and very like, you know, whereas, yes, what he said was that, but the sound didn't kind of match
it? I agree.
No,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to find out, you know, about Alec as we go along is that he was actually incredibly manipulative. He was a drug user and he was addicted to opioids, and you know, what that inspired, we will be discussing over the next couple of episodes.
Sure.
He had a nickname, Big Red, because he was big and he had really, really red hair.
Yeah.
And so did both of his children. It is fire engine red.
Yeah.
Like, they are total rangers.
As we say in Australia. Lovingly.
I'm married to one.
Yeah.
And one of my sons has red hair.
Not that your family aren't obviously redheads though.
Well, they're more auburn, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not fire engine red.
No,
like
not
these
fire
guys.
engine red, no.
But yeah, they were very distinctive looking, I think, because of their red hair, and they sort of really stood out, and they were tall.
sure.
They were really tall as well.
Yeah. Very so.
Alec, when he was at university and studying to be a lawyer, he met Maggie, and Maggie was also, I believe she was studying law as well. And they hit it off, and they ended up getting married and having 2 children. So she is described as, from what I've heard from multiple sources, as being a really lovely lady, very sort of community minded, but kind of, from the impression that I get, no one actually said this, but I think she might have kept to herself a bit.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because she was actually really good friends, almost best friends with both of her housekeepers. And I'm like, that to me says that maybe she didn't go out a lot. Like maybe she wasn't as involved in the community. And then I questioned, like, why was that? You know, was it because she knew what was going on and she didn't want to be out there and associated? I don't know.
Because I find her intriguing.
Me too.
Because we don't know a lot about her.
No.
But the thing is with her that I find the most interesting is that, as you say, she seemed to be a bit of a homebody in that sense of like, you know, her best friends were her housekeepers, not outside of the home, yet she had interesting relationships with her children.
Yes.
And so you'd think that someone that you're describing there of like someone who's like at home wants to and friendly with with her help basically would be someone who'd be quite hands-on then with her kids. No. She was involved, I would say, at a level.
Yeah.
But not.
Do you
didn't
feel
have
like
that
maybe?
loving
Do you think
element
like
of
maybe
her.
she was involved because she was there? It wasn't like.
She was involved, I think, more of in a sense that she knew what they were doing and what was happening.
Sure.
But didn't actively parent.
Yeah.
maybe?
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably fairly fair.
Yeah.
People describe their home as being really warm and welcoming.
Yes.
In that, I think she was very house
She was
proud.
a host all the time.
Yes,
To me, that her role in home was hosting, not mother.
Parenting. Yeah, I think that's really fair, and we'll get into that probably as we go through this story and introduce more characters too.
Apparently, she would decorate the home for any season change. You know, anything that was coming. You know, I mean, they hosted a lot of things doing what they did. They would have parties for everything and anything, and she would host all these things, and she would do amazing decorations and these sorts of things. And that was, you know, she had help to do that with, you know, with housekeepers, etc. But she led all of those things, so she was talented in that way.
Yeah, she was also described as somebody, she liked the finer things. So she liked really expensive jewelry. She had like this particular tennis bracelet that she always wore that was like extremely expensive. She was always decked out in gold and diamonds.
Yeah.
And those things she was really, she valued that kind of thing a lot.
Which is interesting in that lifestyle she led really in some ways too.
Definitely, because again, we'll get to that in a sec, but they lived, you know, in a rural like ranch kind of property
which comes from where they were. Like, I mean, that's the community they lived in. Like, absolutely, that's what people do there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for you, not for everybody kind of situation, and very different to say a wealthy person who lives in New York or, you know,
that's
kind of situation. But their wealth was, you know, in this ranch kind of style living of like, you know, hunting, all those sorts of things that she was around, but yet she would still wear the diamond rings, but still get in and muck in and, you know, clean out, you know, dog kennels and things like that. So it's very juxtaposing, I guess. But she could manage both.
Yeah. And I think she was always like really well dressed, really well groomed. So I think appearances to her meant a lot. Like that was really important to her.
Yeah.
They then went on to have 2 children. So the eldest son was Buster. So his name was actually Randolph Jr.
Yeah, I guess he would have been like the 5th.
Yeah, but I think he was just like Randolph Jr.
Right.
Murdoch.
Yeah, because he went with the Buster nickname, which is
they nicknamed him Buster. It gets so bloody complicated because his great grandfather, who had passed away by this point, was also nicknamed Buster. So there's 2 Buster Murdochs in this story. We're not really going to be talking about the older one, so don't worry too much about that.
But because his grandfather was also Randolph.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his uncle is Randolph.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, choose another fucking name. So he was the eldest son. He was the golden child, definitely to Maggie, but also to Alec.
Yeah.
And they pinned a lot of their hopes and dreams on this firstborn son of theirs. I believe the pressure was on him from very, very early on in his life to follow in his father's footsteps and carry on that family tradition. That is a massive burden and pressure to have on a person.
Absolutely.
But that was the expectation and, you know, all of that. He actually ended up going to university to study law. And he was actually expelled from the program because he was found to have plagiarized several assignments or whatever, something like that. He he will actually come into our story in the not too distant future now because of certain involvements that he had with victims that played into this story.
Yeah.
The next son was Paul Murdoch. Now, he's the youngest son, the family's, quote unquote problem child. He
gives me spare, like kind of the air, the spare air kind of like vibe, big time, yeah?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think he marched to the beat of his own drum. He didn't give a shit about the family legacy or the dynasty that he grew up from.
Well, he did to a point is that he liked the money and having
yes.
that.
I'm not saying he didn't like the money. He certainly liked the lifestyle it afforded.
Yeah.
But that wasn't ever going to be him, I don't think.
Oh, no. No. But I think he was raised to almost be that. Like he was a bit like, over there, mate, like pushed aside, ignored.
And he says that as well in interviews that the police have done and then subsequent interviews after some things that, again, we're going to talk about soon. He was interviewed and he actually, and even one of his ex-girlfriends talks about the fact that he actually had a much closer relationship with his housekeeper.
Yeah.
She was more like a mother figure to him than his own mother.
Yeah.
I think Maggie definitely doted much more on Buster and focused all of her attention and pressure on Buster. And as you said, they kind of like swept Paul to the side and were like, well, and Gloria really took him under her wing and she loved him like her own. Like
she did, but she saw who he was too, I think.
But she loved him anyway.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. She loved him for all his flaws, whereas I feel like maybe Maggie and Alec might have seen those flaws and they didn't love him in the same way. It wasn't unconditional.
No, this is it. And I really struggle with that.
Same.
Like, how can you do that with your own kids?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our moments with one where we're not like as happy with them, but you always love them.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's just, I really struggle with that whole concept that
Me
you're putting one
too.
focus on, like, on this child and, oh, no, you over there. I'm not I can't know how you do that.
I know.
Ugh,
it's
yuck.
bizarre.
Yeah, but this whole family's fucked up like that. I think that goes back. I think that's a generational thing.
Yeah. Okay. So are you saying like the firstborn son is like
Not necessarily
the
the
be all and end
firstborn
all?
when we get to Alec.
Well, that's true too.
So, I mean, I know there was rivalry really between him and his brother Randall. As much as he comes into play in some of this stuff and he has a role in all of this, he was older than Alec.
Yeah.
But he played second fiddle to what went on here.
And he was a lawyer too. It's not like he
was.
wasn't a lawyer.
No.
But for whatever reason, Alec was chosen. You're right. I actually hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
And
so just the golden child then
Yeah.
that has been chosen. Yeah.
And
okay,
it doesn't really rank in terms of birth order, didn't seem to really play into that.
Yeah.
There's personality traits obviously shone through that were focused on. Yeah.
And that's how they ended up the way they ended
yeah.
up. Interesting. It's really interesting.
It really is psychologically and stuff. I find this all fascinating.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
And how the generations. I don't know, how do you get to this?
Yeah.
Like, because it doesn't start here.
Nope.
Like this is
No. So what we're going to actually go in chronological order today.
Yeah.
And the reason, so we're going to start with something that happened before any of this came to a head. So in the context of us telling this now, it's probably worth just keeping in the back of your mind that everybody thought at these times that this family was amazing. They were like pillars of the
Upstanding
community.
citizens, yeah.
Yep. And they were so well respected because of the roles they held within the community.
Absolutely.
All right, let's start with Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith was a young 19-year-old nursing student, openly gay, and just the light of his mum and his sister's life. He had a twin sister.
Yeah.
His mum's name is Sandy, and I believe his sister's name Stephanie.
It sounds right.
They were both S names, I know.
Yeah.
Like they were all S names.
Yeah.
He was, on the night of the 8th of July in 2015, he was found dead in the middle of the road in rural Hampton County, South Carolina. Now, it's a really fascinating situation. So his car was found 3 miles away from his body.
Yep.
The gas cap was off and his wallet was still inside the vehicle.
Yep.
When the police found his body, he had a gash on his forehead
really nasty one.
really nasty, almost to the point where it deformed his face.
Yeah.
A dislocated shoulder, and the way his body was lying was interesting.
Mm-hmm. He also had his mobile phone in his pocket
and his shoes
undamaged.
And his shoes were still on his feet, and they were very loosely tied. They were like those old DC runners. Like everyone back in that time had those runners.
Yeah,
and they were like, the boys never tied them tight. They always wore them loose, which I cannot have a loose shoe. It has to be tight.
Spend some time with my son.
Oh, that's why it drives me mad. That's why every time I see him, I'm like, oh my God, can I please do up your shoelaces? Yeah. But I know that would drive him mad.
I know. He looks at every time I say to him, can you tie your shoes up, please? They're not tight enough. And he's like, they're fine.
No, I can't even. No.
Give them to me.
So the police were 911 was called. The operator sends out police ambulance, and what comes to the fore, or what they decide has happened, is that he's run out of petrol, left his car on the side of the road to go and find petrol. However, there's so many issues with this story.
Yeah.
So what they then allege is that a semi-trailer truck was driving past, and possibly unbeknownst to the truck driver even, has hit him.
Yeah.
And that has caused that laceration to his face, and then he's fallen, dislocated his shoulder, and the laceration to his head is what's actually killed him.
Yeah. But there's so many things.
So let's get into the issues with this.
Yeah.
The first thing is, this happened at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, did it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was really early in the morning.
Early as hours of the morning. Yeah.
So the first thing is that if he was walking towards a gas station, he was actually
walking in the wrong direction. He was walking towards home, not where the gas station is.
Yeah, but he'd taken – the other thing is, if you leave your car on the side of the road, you don't take your gas cap off and leave it off. If that was me, I would have put it back on, shut it, taken my wallet to go and pay
locked
for
your
the
car
petrol,
up, kind of thing.
the car and left it in that state.
Which that's where seeing that like that, the police did sort of say that felt staged in some way. It's like pointing to something. It's like oh no, I'm out of fuel. Look, look here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whereas anyone else would have closed that up and locked their car up to go looking for fuel.
Yep. The police did look into whether there was any mechanical issues with the car, and there weren't.
No.
It had actually run out of fuel.
Yeah,
legitimately had run out of fuel.
His sister has said too that this was something that they did regularly in the area, that they would walk home from places or whatever, and something that Stephen had always said was that he would never walk along the road. They would cut through paddocks and stuff like that. That walking along the road like that is just something he didn't feel comfortable doing, because
so
he knew that the simple fact is he was an openly gay man in an area that does not accept that well. He is incredibly brave, and I applaud him for being just who he was. And many people did accept him, but he knew that if he was walking along the side of the road or something and someone saw him, that it could just be inviting trouble, in that area, which just sucks.
It's
and
disgusting.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
But he always commented to his sister and how they would always walk through the paddocks and stuff like that rather than walking along the side of a road.
Sure. The other thing his mum said is that she thought that if he had actually run out of petrol and this was legit, he probably would have slept in his car and waited until morning, because he for that exact reason
as well. So they're both saying that him walking along the road
just isn't
what he would do. But not only that, he was found in the middle of the road. Mm-hmm. So he certainly wouldn't walk in the middle of the road.
There's so many other issues as well. So if things happen the way the police allege they happened, if he got hit by the rearview mirror of a truck.
Yes.
And when I say truck, I don't mean pickup truck, I mean a semi-trailer.
Yeah.
There's no way he would have been thrown to the middle of the road. He might have been thrown away from the road.
Because he was literally in the middle of the road when he was found.
Yeah. The other thing that they say is if you're ever hit by a vehicle, your shoes almost always come off.
It's like a
something
physics
to do, the
thing.
friction and of your feet on the ground, and then the rest of your body being thrown forward.
Yeah, your feet literally just come out of your shoes.
Yes. His shoes were on so loosely
Yeah.
that they would have definitely come off.
Mm-hmm.
if you think about the impact of a truck hitting you, hard enough to kill you. Don't you think and he fell, the mobile phone was under his body, so he's fallen
in his
onto his
back
mobile
pocket,
phone.
kind of,
Yep.
under his bum sort of
Yep.
area.
Don't you think that would have shattered?
There was nothing wrong with his phone.
No damage.
No. But there was also no injuries sort of lower body either, really. We were talking upper body damage. So that sort of, it isn't really consistent with that kind of accident either, and being thrown, that he would have something lower body.
Yeah.
But there was also no debris from any vehicle in the area. So they scoured that area for vehicle, indications of a vehicle, so they could basically go, if this is a hit and run, we've got to find out who was driving that vehicle. There was none.
And they also said that they tested his clothes for microscopic paint
So like
particles.
glass bits and things
Yep.
like that to be found. Like,
Yep.
because if he's hit a mirror, something would have, glass
Been on
could
the
have
ground.
shattered, anything could have
Definitely.
there was zero debris from the vehicle on the ground or found to be on him
Yep.
in any way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. The FBI did get involved eventually because basically the case went cold.
Yeah. so
Very,
there's
very
a
quickly.
particular police officer who really looked at this thoroughly. He was, I want to say his name was Michael Smith. I might be wrong.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. I feel like that was right. I should have written it down. I don't know why I didn't. He was, but this guy, he was a local cop who was looking into it. He got really deep in it and was, he knew this, just none of this added up. He followed every aspect and every lead of this. Now, what's interesting about him doing that was that the more and more he looked into this, the more he felt like he was being followed and being surveilled, particularly when he went into town near where the Murdoch's law firm was.
is they're private.
He
law
would get
firm.
phone calls from them. Now, the other thing that happened straight after this accident was that Stephen's family, his mum, I believe it was, that answered the phone, received a phone call from Randall Murdoch saying that we will represent you in this situation legally. Just offering that free of charge, we will do that. Now, Randall Murdoch and the law firm that he was in, absolutely they would represent people like this. But that family never reached out to them. They had no connection. They did not have any connection specifically to him. Like, why would they be getting that phone call from him? Mm-hmm. Very
And
interesting.
the other thing that Sandy says is that she received that phone call before she knew or had found out from law enforcement that there was potentially someone involved. So, like, what I'm saying is they hadn't discussed the case with her.
Yeah.
So Randall, when he phoned her,
Yeah.
he knew more about her son's case
Yeah.
than she even knew yet. So this just goes to show the influence that the Murdoch family and their law firm obviously had over law enforcement.
Yeah.
Who's working for who here?
Yeah. There's definitely information passing through to people that shouldn't really have that information at this point in time. Like, what have they got to do with this?
Yeah.
That they have information
And I'm
on.
sorry, why are they getting information before the mother of the victim?
Yeah. Yeah. Yup.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in this, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So there's a lot of bits and pieces with that none of this adds up.
Yeah.
And there's already some indications and that, like, why is this sort of linking back to the Murdochs? Where is that? And so in this investigation, this police officer found that a particular name just kept coming up.
So I believe there were over 100 pages in Discovery or about this case in the documentation. And in those 100 pages, now I'm talking these are statements, these are, information that the police has collected.
Yeah.
And also this is when members of the public phone in with information about the case, this all gets recorded, in these documents.
Yeah.
40 times the name Murdoch comes up.
Yeah.
In 100 pages worth of documentation. No one else's name or no other name comes up more than once or twice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're starting to get a bit of an idea here. What's going on? Why is the Murdoch name coming up? Mm-hmm. And then the case kind of goes cold. it wasn't until June of 2021, and that's significant because of what happened around this same time and why this was opened, why this case was kind of re-investigated, which we will absolutely get to in next week's episode.
Yeah.
But this was re-investigated in 2021 and it was looked at in a very different light because of other things that have happened, which we are getting to.
Yeah.
So the rumours were at this point, and I guess the inference is that Buster Murdoch, so Alec and Maggie's eldest son, the golden-haired child, the one who's being set up to take over this family dynasty, was having a relationship, a secret relationship with Stephen Smith.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine in that family that would have been absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
It would have been just humiliating to the family. It wouldn't have meant that he could carry on the legacy that his father and grandfather and great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather had established.
Yep.
And so I think what's then inferred, or what ends up being investigated, is the fact that the Murdochs have found out about this relationship and orchestrated the events that led to Stephen's death.
Yeah. Yep. I have thoughts on.
Go on, please. So do I, but
Yeah.
I'm so curious. Go, tell me what you think.
I mean, yeah. Well, firstly, with all this information that came to them about, these rumors and like, there's a lot of like recordings of those rumors, like people that have come forward and explain what they know. Now, when in all of that though, no one is first person. They're all saying, my friend told me, my cousin knows so-and-so who told this story. No one says, I know this. I know it. I've seen them together. There's no first-hand witness of this.
Because they're all fucking shit scared that the Murdochs are going to sue them.
Exactly.
Because they sue people for looking at them the wrong way.
This is right. So, I mean, I find that interesting in itself, just the fact of like no one's willing to come forward and say, I know this is fact.
I think that's very I understand why people do that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I think it says a lot. I mean, some people, you can look at it in one way and kind of go, oh, well, people are it's just rumors, then it's bullshit. But I think you've got to it's weight in it, because there's too many people that say it.
Yep.
Too many people have come forward to, and have said the same stories kind of thing that I just go, nah, there's weight in this.
It's like, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Totally.
It's like, and people have very, very similar stories and very similar accounts. And it's like the world's worst kept secret almost.
Exactly.
Especially amongst the younger
This is it. It
population.
was all younger people that were coming forward with this information. I feel like no one was, they're not, what have they got to gain by, I mean, they shouldn't, if they didn't really want anyone linking them to it, they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
They're willing to come forward and say something and go, well, I've heard something. And I think that those two are having a relationship. Like, I think there is plenty in it. Mm-hmm. Now, but I think that Buster obviously has a reputation to uphold.
Yes.
And so in many ways. So I do think that maybe he was aware that these rumours were getting bigger. Mm-hmm. And so he had to do something to shut it down.
Do you reckon there might have been an instance or something where maybe Alec found them together, or someone found them together? You don't think so?
No, I don't think it got I don't even think it got that far. I don't think it would take even that extent.
Yep. It was just the fact that there's people might be talking about something that might be happening.
I think what's happened, this is my take on what I think happened.
Yep.
Buster and his mates were going around playing baseball with people's letterboxes.
Yeah.
Which is evident. They know people were doing that.
Yep.
I think they were doing that, and I think that they have driven along and they have seen Stephen in his car, like you say. I think he did run out of fuel and he was in his car. They happened to have stumbled across him. And I think that then I think Buster and a couple of his mates or whatever have pulled him out of the car, and it's gone too far because Buster's like basically taken the frustrations of, like what if people find out about this, I have to prove that I don't love him, I don't have a relationship with him. So I think he's got hit over the head with a baseball bat. And that's why the injury across his face, it is in a line, something straight, they say, has hit him across the face.
Yep.
Like a baseball bat kind of thing. I think that aligns, that he's been hit with that. I think he has died from these injuries from this brawl. I then think they have dumped the body on the road and staged it the way it is. But I think this all just came down from like, wankers who think they're above the law, and Buster covering his tracks of a relationship with this guy.
Do you think any of the next generation up of Murdochs had anything to do with the staging of the body or the cover-up?
Oh, I think quite possibly. I think he's obviously, as they do, I think he's immediately got on the phone when this has happened or whatever and gone, shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I do think then others have got involved to protect him.
I think so too.
And I think that then, because I don't see a story where Alec and the rest of them,
but they don't go to Alec. So
no, they go to their uncle and their uncles and their grandfather.
They don't really go to Alec. So no. I think it might have not even been Alec who knew necessarily.
This is it.
Or dealt with it necessarily. No. But then Alec also had enough offsiders that they could have called to sort of help them, like as in who the boys could have called to help them out as well.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I feel like it hadn't got to the extent of like the extended family orchestrating this to the point of like the actual killing. I think that's happened in a, I don't know, rage-fueled dickhead state of like wankers drinking beer, doing this, and they've stumbled across him and this is what's happened, and then it's gone way too far.
He was such a gorgeous young man.
Oh, wasn't he?
Oh my God.
He just seemed like the life of the party, kind of really great fun, lovely guy.
Fun. He was a twin. His sister's just devastated, of course. But to be a twin. He was a nursing student.
Yeah. He had these goals of like, Jesus, it breaks my heart what he was like hoping to do and go overseas and things and help children. And
he wanted to work in remote communities and help people.
Yes, help people.
And so the world missed out on that because of these fucking motherfuckers, although no one's been convicted of any of this yet. No. So this is all allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, that's my take on what happened. That's what I think's happening. And I honestly think that from listening to particularly that police officer I was talking about, he very much, I think he believes that too. He typical police officer kind of thing. He doesn't lay out what he thinks happened, but he infers things of what his investigation has taken him to. Mm-hmm. And I think I honestly think that's what's happened here. Yeah. And Buster knows what happened, and so do many others in the Murdoch family know what happened. And I do think there are some other outside. I think there's some other kids who know what happened on that night.
Oh, definitely. I fully agree with you. I definitely.
But they've been shut up and paid off or whatever. I really do believe that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just as implicit. So it's, of course they want to keep quiet as well because they were involved.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They hold it over them of like, I mean, I could honestly say, I reckon if any one of them wanted to talk, they could go to police officers and they would probably get a bit more of a slap on the wrist sort of situation, like get less of a...
Well, they could probably come up with a deal.
They would come up with a deal.
They would want to be sorting this shit out if there was something that was provable and known.
Yeah, but they have definitely shut them up somehow, which when we get to other cases here of what's gone on, there's precedent for this occurring that we know it happened. Absolutely people have come forward and talked about.
Yep.
I think the same thing happened with this.
I think you're right. I agree. I fully agree.
And it worked, this one. It worked with Stephen.
Yes. Yes, it did.
But it maybe didn't work so much with the other one.
Well, it worked till now because I think there's still a reward out.
Yes.
A financial reward. I think it's not a lot though. I feel like it's like maybe $50,000. Like it's nothing. It's not enough
to talk at this point.
No.
Not with where their webs go.
I think there was a GoFundMe set up at one point to exhume his body. In order for the police to that would then I guess mean that the police had to then do another autopsy and look at the body again. I actually don't know if that ever happened. Do you know if that happened?
I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
No.
My gut feeling, because I haven't read anything about it, I feel like maybe that never came.
So I feel like that happened
eventuated.
The next one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
but that was not.
I don't remember it
being
mentioned about Stephen. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next victim of this family was a woman by the name of Gloria Satterfield. Now, Gloria was the Murdoch's housekeeper and nanny for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. Her son Tony, so she had 2 sons of her own, and she was a widow, I believe, a widower.
Yeah.
And
she raised her boys on her own.
Yeah, she raised the boys on her own and worked for the Murdochs throughout their entire sort of childhood and adolescence.
Well, she actually worked for them and for some other families as well, because she needed income for to raise her boys on her own like that. That she worked her ass off.
Oh, she was such a hard worker.
Yeah,
a hard worker. Her son, Tony, says that he loved the Murdochs, that he really felt welcomed by them and included by them. And her sister, she had a sister named Ginger who is actually very outspoken.
Love
and
that.
I know, if you want to look up a lot more about Gloria, you can. And most of the family spokesmanship comes through Ginger.
Yeah.
Gloria also had 2 brothers, but they just kind of sit in the background while Ginger kind of gives her opinion or gives their opinion to everyone.
Everyone's.
I actually really rate her because she's like a dog with a bone, and she has not let any of this go
Good
to
on
her
her.
absolute credit.
Yeah.
I think Gloria's sons were too young to have to take all of this on, and so she has really stepped up for them and really advocated for Gloria in all of this. So hats off to her.
Amazing.
Gloria loved tennis. She was an avid tennis player when she had, the small amount of time off that she had.
Yeah.
She loved the colour purple. And as I said, she was always up at the crack of dawn at her first job, finish that one off, go to the next job. She would often, Maggie would often ring Gloria and say, oh, I'm not going to be able to cook dinner tonight. Can you pop dinner on? She'd go back. She'd get dinner ready for them.
Yep.
Apparently she was an incredible cook. Mac and cheese was her absolute specialty, and the
Southerners
kids
love
loved
that.
it. The kids absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I'd love her recipe because sometimes I find mac and cheese can be a little hit
Well, I
and
just
miss.
find that we don't know how to do that really here in Australia.
We're not great
We're
at
not
it.
great
I mean,
at
I
it.
think the key is grating your own cheese. You can't use pre-grated cheese.
Oh, I don't
obviously.
like pre-grated cheese.
It's
in it.
disgusting.
It's the powder and
Yeah,
stuff.
the powdery
It just
nuts.
ruins it.
No, so you need to grate your own cheese, but I
Yeah.
don't know. But anyway, so that was her little claim to fame, I
Yeah.
suppose. So the relationship between Paul and Gloria, especially, apparently was they were very bonded.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about a little bit earlier, she saw Paul and all of his flaws, but she loved him anyway, and she would do anything for him. And he obviously felt very supported by her because Paul's ex-girlfriend says that he had a photo of Gloria in his wallet of no one else, just a little photo of Gloria.
Says a lot.
It says a lot. It kind of that almost endears him to me a little bit.
That's about the only thing that does.
Oh, there's not
Yeah.
there's not anything
Because
else.
even Gloria bailed up that ex-girlfriend and said to her, no, maybe don't
Maybe move
date
on.
him.
Maybe move on.
He's not a good guy.
Yeah.
I love him, but
Yeah. He's
Maybe
not a
don't.
good partner.
no.
Yeah. Move on. And she was a lovely girl.
Totally.
And
My heart
like you
breaks
sort
for her.
of,
We'll get
my
onto
heart
that.
breaks for her too.
God.
But I just think she didn't know what she didn't
No,
know.
she
I
was a
think
young
she was
girl
so
in
innocent.
yeah, absolutely.
And she didn't see things for what they were
Yep.
because that's not how they were presented to her.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so this accident.
In inverted commas, accident.
So
Yeah.
the property where the Murdochs lived was called Moselle.
Mojal.
I didn't do a really good
No,
job there.
I suck at it though. Oh God, I
It's
can
not
usually
easy.
do an accent.
I feel like you were better at the South African accent that we were talking about in our Patreon episode. But anyway, so we're not going to do any more accents. Sorry, people.
We suck at it. That's
So
fine.
bad.
Can't be good at everything.
Yeah. Almost everything, just not absolutely everything. So this accident, in inverted commas, happened at the property at Moselle.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we are naming the properties is because the Murdochs also had so many properties, not just in South Carolina, but all around the country.
Yeah.
So in February of 2018, a 911 call comes through, and you can hear the recording of this literally anywhere.
Yeah.
Just Google it. You can hear it.
Yeah.
A woman who is later then identified as Maggie Murdoch reported that Gloria had fallen back down 8 brick steps at the front of their home.
Yep.
Now, apparently on this particular day, Gloria was going over to Moselle to pick up her check, her pay, and they didn't necessarily know. They knew she was coming that day. They didn't necessarily know when. When Maggie rings 911, do you find that phone call really confusing?
Very.
Because she doesn't actually – so to me, right?
Yeah.
If I was ringing 911 because anyone had fallen at my house, now apparently Gloria, there was bleeding. She gave no really amazing information about the state of Gloria.
Nope.
The operator asks, is she conscious? And she's like, yeah, maybe. And then she's like, oh, not really. I'm like, you're either fucking conscious or you're unconscious. I
Yeah.
don't know that there's much in between there.
No.
She gives no detail. She's like, I think Maggie, no, then Paul gets on the phone.
You hear Paul, like, so he's definitely there.
He's definitely there. He gets on the phone.
Yeah.
And he says to the 911 operator, I think she's tripped on the dogs. Now, they basically, the 911 operator's like, yep, we're sending somebody out there. We're sending EMS or whatever out
really
there.
no panic in any of their voices?
No
I want to
panic.
say that. Like, yeah.
She's got, and then what Paul says is like, she's bleeding out of her ear.
Yes.
And that to me would be like, fucking
Panic.
hell, fuck. Like, but he's like, oh, she's bleeding out of her ear. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, we'll get someone over there.
Yeah.
There's not like, will you hurry, please?
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing like that from and this is where I kind of go, like, Paul was so connected with this woman, yet he was very, she's fallen. No, get help now. Oh my God, this is like someone who means so much to me is injured and hurt and
or
could
just
be.
even, it doesn't even matter if they mean something to you.
No,
If someone's
no,
fallen and at your house
absolutely.
and has blood coming out of their ear and from the back of their head.
Yeah, but he's a cold person now, I think, in many ways. But I just kind of go, this is particularly a person that I thought he might have that
That's so true.
thought about. And
Yeah.
and he doesn't.
No.
And I'm like, oh God, this
It's
makes it
really
even worse
weird.
with him. Yeah.
When the EMS get there, and I believe law enforcement also went on the scene, what they find is Gloria's body on the stairs still. Her legs are up on
like the
higher
third step or something further, and she's her head's on the ground, like, and her body's on the ground. Yeah.
It looks like they have not really made an attempt at first aid, which again I also find interesting. Like, why wasn't the 911 operator telling them to provide first aid?
Yeah.
I assume they do that in America.
I would have assumed so.
Yeah, so that I find really odd as well. Like, but then I listened to the call and I'm like, maybe the severity of what happened didn't really get over, because the 911 operator does say to Paul when he's on the phone, has she ever had a stroke? And he goes, I don't know why you're asking me all these questions. Just get somebody here. And she's like, I've got someone on the way. I need to ask these questions. And he never answers. I think he says, I don't think she's ever had a stroke. But then they need to know more information that is then not forthcoming.
No. Well, that's where I get, though, I think that they didn't know stuff about her as much as they had a relationship with her.
Well,
they
the
didn't bother to
operator
get
asks,
to know her.
Yeah, the operator asks Maggie, how old is she? And she goes, I don't know.
Oh, I guess she's about 50.
Something.
Yeah. And I thought, wow, for someone who you're so close with,
Yeah.
and that there is a lot of information to make, that she raised your children, basically, and all these things that I go,
20 years they've
wow,
worked,
you've known.
she's worked there.
And think even Alec, in one interview I heard of him saying, they asked him how long had she been working with you, and he kind of did the whole, guess it'd be maybe around 20 years. He couldn't even pinpoint how long she'd worked there, which I find that interesting of someone who he employs people. Like, he's got, a big law firm, like, kind of thing. I don't know, someone like that, how long they've been working with you for, because you'd be like, wow, we nearly came up for 20 years, Gloria. We should do something special. You've been with us for so long. I don't know, like, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, in that setting, that's quite an intimate, she's picking up their underwear off the floor.
I mean, and wouldn't you know, if she's raised your kids like that, well, Paul was 2 when she came on
That's
board.
right.
Or, you know what I mean?
You would
Like,
have
Buster was this
context.
age.
Yes.
So therefore she's been with us that long.
But no, they didn't care enough to think about it.
They
like
didn't think
that.
about other people like that in themselves. It was all very self-centered, I feel like, as much as, oh, they're just interesting fucking people. Really interesting fucking people.
So interesting. So at this point, Gloria is in a really critical condition, and she is, I believe they airlift her to a hospital in a nearby town, because I think in Hampton County there's no like tertiary
Major,
hospitals or anything like that. So they've airlifted her to the next closest facility. I think it was in Georgia or something.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and she was in hospital for 2 weeks, and the decision was eventually made by her 2 sons to stop her life support. Her injuries and her subsequent, like the brain injury, meant that, you know, her state was incompatible with life ongoing. So,
yeah. But her death certificate says she died of natural causes.
yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
What's with that?
Well, I don't know that falling down the stairs is a natural cause.
No, because what they said is basically in hospital she then had like a heart attack.
Yes.
And then, so I've heard some people sort of say, well, okay, maybe if she died, even dying from a heart attack is not natural causes, but are there natural causes like after effects? That's why.
Look, I can understand, like maybe if she'd had a stroke and fallen due to the stroke, okay, but then you still need to do a brain scan to confirm that she, I guess.
But then wouldn't she have died of stroke, not
that's true.
natural causes?
Yeah, that's
still?
true. So what happens though when you put natural causes on a death certificate is there's no autopsy.
No autopsy and no investigation.
It never gets flagged with the coroner, and there's no further investigation.
Nothing to see here, people.
Don't you think that's really interesting?
Well, because the other very interesting thing is that then Alec is interviewed at a point in all of this because he says she fell down the stairs and that he spoke to, because no one they all say they didn't witness her fall down the stairs.
No, they all claim they were inside.
They all claim they were inside and they didn't see what happened outside. They came out and found her, right? Mm-hmm. But in an interview, Alec says he spoke to her as they were putting her into the ambulance.
Yep.
Now, the paramedics that were on the scene and all those sorts of people say Alec wasn't even there.
He wasn't there. She also wasn't verbal.
No.
Apparently she was like making noises, but she wasn't communicating.
Sense of what, wouldn't be able to make sense of what she said or anything. But he claimed that she told him that the dogs had tripped her up.
He wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
Interesting. The other interesting thing is that 1 month before Gloria died, Alec, took out an insurance policy on Moselle.
Yeah, commercial insurance policy.
Yep. To the tune of, I think it was $5 million.
4 point something, I think it was.
4.3 or something,
or something.
Or 4.6, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's 4.3. I've got it written down.
Yeah.
$4.3 million.
Yeah.
Okay. After Gloria died.
Pretty much at the funeral, I believe it was.
I believe it was at the funeral. Alec approached her 2 sons, who were, I think one was 20 and one was 18.
Yeah, 18 and 20, I think,
at the time.
From the top of my head. Yeah, something
same.
around that. Yeah.
Something around that.
Yeah. Not older, but not young. Like,
but
in that bracket of like old enough to manage this, but in the same time too young to know how to do it on their own.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So he goes up to them and he says, "We really want to look after you. We're so sorry this happened. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a lawyer. I'm going to put you in touch with a lawyer, and I want you to sue my homeowner's insurance." And so the boy's like, "Oh, no, Mr. Murdoch, no, we would never do that." And he goes, No, you need to be taken care of. I insist that you need to do this. I will put you in touch with a really good lawyer and we'll go from there. So the boys do that. They are put in contact with a lawyer. Yep. Was this lawyer impartial, Meg?
Oh, let me think about that. No fucking way.
No. He was Randolph's best friend. So Alec's brother's best friend and college roommate, I believe. Okay.
The good old boys.
The good old boys. So what happened, this guy was named Corey Fleming.
That's right.
So they go down the path. Now, by the way, this took fucking years as well. They were fucking around back and forth. I think they were clearly trying to pull the wool over the young boy's eyes.
I don't know if the actual process of it happening took years. I think that happened very easily.
Yes, and quickly.
But Gloria's boys were just not informed of any of it.
They were informed though. They were just informed the wrong thing. They were like, "Oh
spoon-fed
we're doing
bits and pieces when they wanted them to.
It'll be another 4 months. We've got another hearing. Yeah. Oh, but you don't have to be there. Don't worry. We'll take care of all of this.
All taken care of. You guys don't need to worry about this.
You don't need to worry at all.
No.
What eventuates is that so Corey and Alex sued Alex's home insurance, this commercial insurance,
Yeah.
for the full $4.3 million.
But they had told the boys, right, the two sons, that the settlement, it'll take care of you guys because we'll probably be able to get about $500,000.
Exactly.
500,000. That's what they were sort of thinking, that this is a ballpark figure that their boys were expecting to get out of it.
Yep.
Which they were like very, very happy to receive if that's what this would happen out of this, that they would receive that money. That would really help them out.
Yep.
And that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nah.
Turns out $4.3 million. Alex and Fleming stole the entire amount. Mm-hmm. The boys have never
received any
a
of it.
cent. Not a cent.
No. And it wasn't until later events that occur, which we'll get to next week, that gets flagged with them.
Yeah.
That exists.
They didn't even know.
They had no idea. What a sack of shit.
Both of them.
Oh,
This
all
Fleming
of them.
bloke
All
and
of it. Like
Alec.
it's just
What a fucking piece of shit.
Yep. Yeah.
What fucking pieces
and
of shit.
as I mean, one guy comes, and again we'll get into it more next week, but this one particular police officer, I think it was an FBI agent, sort of said, well, this kind of been the first one because you don't start these things with a $4.3 million job. So how much of people's money did these sacks of shit steal?
Well, I believe it is untold.
Yeah.
As in, skipping ahead here, but I think it's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah.
All this shit catches up to Alec eventually.
Yeah.
And his financial crimes alone, he was jailed for 40 years. That's on his financial crimes alone, let alone all the other things that we're yet to talk about.
Yep.
And part of that 40 years was this fraud against Gloria's sons, Brian and Tony. What a fucking asshole.
He is just awful. And the thing is, okay, so this one here with Gloria, there's the financial shit of this, which there's one way of looking at this, that Gloria had an accident and Alex has taken advantage of that. Or
did Gloria know too much?
Gloria knows something that he didn't want her to know, or, and did he take out that insurance, that commercial insurance policy, knowing what he was planning on doing?
So
what came first?
Yeah, my gut feeling, I think the timing of the insurance policy being taken out might be a bit of a red herring. The reason I say that is because he wasn't present when she fell. So I don't know how he could have orchestrated that. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I think he's taken advantage of a very awful situation.
So do you think she genuinely fell?
I don't actually know. I don't know. I can't imagine Maggie would have done anything.
Nope, but I can certainly think Paul would.
But what would his motivation have been? Or do you think advice of his father?
No, because I don't think they had that kind of relationship.
No, same.
I honestly believe that, well, we know, what we do know is that Gloria knew about Alec's drug taking.
Yes.
She had found a stash there. We know that Paul knew.
Well, Gloria had told Paul.
Yeah. So Gloria and Paul knew this information about their dad.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that what's happened that morning is Gloria has maybe said, well, Paul, if you're not going to speak to your mum about this, like Maggie's there, say, and I'm going to tell your mum, and, we need to get help for your dad, or, I think this has been what the conversation is.
Okay.
And I think that what's happened is Paul's I don't think he's gone, I'm going to kill her, but I think it's gotten out of hand. And I do think that she's fallen down the stairs with an assistance of a fall. Like, I think there's been a push or something's gone in that argument somehow. I think there's more involvement there.
I can see that being a situation. My challenge to that is, though, why do you think Paul wouldn't have wanted Maggie to know? Because I think she knew. She knew he was an opioid abuser.
Oh, I think that's absolutely part of it, in that they knew these things. They just didn't want other people knowing these things.
Okay.
And so I think...
So you're saying Gloria knew too much and Paul was trying to protect So it was almost like an unspoken thing within the family. Like his drug abuse.
I think we don't talk about this shit. Why are you talking about it? Why are you bringing it up? I think that's the kind of attitude he'd have to it.
Okay.
I think that he would have been like, stop talking about it, shut up about it. You know, what's it to you? Been nasty to her and said, you know, I think that he would have just been in a foul mood, like, you know, kind of shit.
I find it really weird that she took it to him.
I do too. I do too.
So what Gloria found, she was making a bed one day and she found a massive bag of opioid pills taped under the bed frame.
Yeah.
And that's what she disclosed to Paul that she'd found. She didn't tell Maggie.
Because the thing is...
who was supposedly her friend.
The thing is, absolutely, Alec was a drug taker.
Yes.
Right?
Abuser.
But I think there's more to it in the drug stuff.
Okay.
I do think there was connections there with other people, like dealers, etc.
Yes.
That there was
definitely.
So I think there was the element of Alec taking the drugs, which wasn't acceptable of knowledge for people to know.
Sure.
But I do think there was more illegal shit connected to that.
Right.
That was the worst stuff. That was the stuff that maybe was the stuff they really more likely didn't want being known.
Okay. Yep.
Does that?
Well, yeah, no, I get that. I think we'll talk more about that in next week's episode.
Yeah.
You can give us your full theory then.
Yeah.
So
I don't think if I have a full constructed one yet.
Oh, I know, because there's so much we don't know what we don't know either, and this family has done a really, really great job at hiding a lot of shit.
Oh, there's so much you can do when you have money.
Yeah.
So many people you can buy out.
And power.
Yeah. The power is
influence.
incredible.
Their power was so far-reaching.
Yeah.
And we'll, again, actually, in the next person we're talking about, the power of this family is really evident.
It becomes really evident in this one, I think, because so many people were willing to come out and talk, you know, and voice what happened here, and because a lot of it's on body cam footage and things too.
Yeah, that's true.
Discovered.
Yeah, just really quickly before we finish up with Gloria's story.
Yeah.
Her family, in the wake of her death, set up a Gloria's Gifts Foundation.
Oh, lovely.
And they give Christmas presents to needy kids. And they wanted to make sure that her name was associated with kind and lovely things, which is what she was in life, and not associated with the Murdoch name at all. So that's why they set that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What a.
It sucks that, you know, there are great things that come out of these shitty situations, but it sucks we have to be there at this point for that to happen. Oh.
Now, this next victim of the Murdoch family this whole story is a big one.
This one kind of is the catalyst, I reckon, for this coming out publicly, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. I think if this hadn't happened, we wouldn't even know who the fuck they were.
We wouldn't know who Gloria Satterfield was. We didn't know who Stephen Smith was, like, you know, at all.
No.
But like, because from this case, literally, after this, 19 lawsuits get filed against the Murdochs.
Yeah.
From this point.
Yeah.
So this just blows everything up.
And we're not even talking like little civil cases.
No, I'm talking massive things.
Massive things.
Yeah. 19 massive lawsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next victim we're talking about is Mallory Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mallory was a friend of Paul Murdoch's. Now, there was kind of like three couples who would hang around. Now, Paul and Morgan were on again, off again.
For 4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years. They've been together a while.
Yeah.
Anthony and Mallory were like young childhood sweethearts. I think they'd known each other for a very long time, hadn't been together that long.
No, they hadn't. And this is like they'd been, friends for so long. But
family friends, I think.
Yeah, but only in the sort of last 12 months-ish or something.
Okay.
They'd had a moment where they were like, no, actually, I think it was he came out and sort of said, no, I really, really like you. And she reciprocated and they decided, yes, that we want to date. Like, you know, yeah.
I really rate him in the documentaries.
So
I
do
just think
I.
he's so lovely.
Beautiful.
He's such a lovely boy.
And so
man.
was she. Was such a lovely girl.
She was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, just really, they really suited one another.
Oh, yeah.
Just really young love.
Genuinely, like, people who knew them and everything had commented how they were like the couple.
Yeah, they were going to be
They were going to
together
be
forever.
together.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think to this day he's single.
Yeah.
He just has no interest in meeting anyone, I don't think, after losing her, which I hope he can move forward and have a life. And I know, like, she would want that for him. But
Definitely. I mean, when you think about it, this only happened in 2019. It's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd never get over it.
No.
So, and then the other couple were, again, I don't know that these two were necessarily together at the time, but there was Connor and Miley. They are now together.
They were together then.
They were together then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're still together. Well, when the documentary was filmed anyway, they were still together.
Yeah. So Miley and Miley and Mallory were best friends and had been since they were small children, totally glued to each other pretty much since kindergarten, I think.
Yeah.
Genuine like besties.
Yes.
And then Morgan had arrived in the town
Paul.
later. So she'd moved into the area and gone to their school and they'd met each other.
Yeah, so I think Paul and Anthony were best friends.
Yes.
And
Connor and Anthony were cousins.
Yes.
Well, are cousins.
Our cousins, yes. And so Morgan kind of started dating Paul and kind of got into this
group.
This group, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
The three M names, oh my God. So we've got Mallory, Morgan and Miley.
Yeah,
and when I go to say their names, I've had to actually like highlight their names. So I'm like, this is the one that did this. This is the one that did that.
Yes.
All very attractive, gorgeous young people. No, maybe not all of them. Just thinking Paul.
I don't get that.
And then I don't get that either because Morgan is gorgeous.
Do you know who she reminds me of?
Who?
Shaylee Woodley.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I literally, because I left the room for a minute, right, when I was watching some of the doco, and I left the room and went, and I could hear it from the other room, and I'm going, why is Shaylee Woodley on my screen? Like, what? And then I walked back in and went, no, yeah, she sounds like her.
Yeah.
And even just demeanor, she just, if they ever do a movie, like
she's your gal.
yeah.
They did do a
well, they have.
anyway.
That's
Patricia Arquette played
yes,
Maggie.
Yeah.
I do love Patricia Arquette.
I do. In that she's like so like not attractive, like kind of like she like,
plays it well.
She does. She
plays it very, very,
very well. Yeah.
Although, look, it's very entertaining if you want to go and watch it. It's not. I think they leave out some really key details, but I also understand why.
Issues I find with it.
Definitely.
I didn't want to watch it for this again because I'm like,
it's not factual.
It's not factual enough to like actually. Yeah, I watched it quite a while ago.
Yeah,
that one.
it's worth a watch though.
Yeah.
Right? It's entertaining.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, on the night of the 23rd of February, the tragedy happened after midnight, so it's reported as the 24th. But on the night of the 23rd in 2019, these 6 underage, and when we say underage, we're talking under 21, the legal age of drinking, these 6 friends are hanging out together.
Well, they're heading off to an oyster roast.
Yes. Now, did you have to look up what an oyster roast is?
I most certainly did because you know me, I don't really eat oysters.
I fucking love oysters.
Love an oyster. When my family do love oysters, and I was like, you don't cook them, do you? Like,
so to me, the thought of a cooked oyster makes me want to vomit.
Because even I had to ask my brothers about this because, like, okay, so there's oysters Kilpatrick, which they are warmed, heated.
Yeah,
they're not
warmed.
They're not even, like I was saying to them, like,
they're not cooked.
They're not, they're like, no, you don't cook them. No. And I'm like, right, because in my mind, I'm like, they're kind of warm. Like, but no, they're just warmed. They're not cooked even. So I'm like, we're still not at a roast.
So what I saw is
maybe
they
I'll
basically
eat a
get
cooked one then, like, because I can't eat them raw.
Oh, but I just feel like they'd be rubbery.
Ooh.
So they basically barbecue shelled oysters. So
you have to
haven't
put a
been
burlap
shucked yet.
sack over them, and like
So
you
steam them.
steam
I don't
them,
even
like-
know. It just to me. Can you imagine the smell?
Well,
That, guys, for those of you not watching on YouTube, that was a genuine gag.
I can't.
Her eyes are watering now. Okay, let's not talk about the smell of oysters anymore. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I did that to you, but oh my God. So anyway, these kids have decided to go to this oyster roast. Now, a couple of things. First thing is they had heard because these oyster roasts attract a lot of young people in the county, police will be out and about doing roadside checks and sobriety tests and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they decided to actually go via boat. So Paul's dad, Alec, had a boat. Now, when I say boat, it's more like it's bigger than a dinghy, but it's not massive. Like the 6 people barely fit on it.
It was a
There wasn't-
runabout kind of boat.
Yeah,
that you'd put in the
it was
water
for
to
the
put in
little
water.
canals
Yeah.
around South Carolina,
Yeah.
around Hampton County. And before they got on the boat though, yes, it was. Before they got on the boat, they decided to go to, what's the name of the shop? I've just completely forgotten it.
Where they were buying booze.
Where they were buying booze, yeah. Anyway, they went to this shop. It begins with an R. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It doesn't really matter, but it comes into play a little bit later.
Yeah.
Paul goes in and he's got his brother Buster's ID because Buster is over 21.
And they do look alike.
They do look similar, although Buster's bigger, but you wouldn't be able to tell that
from an ID photo.
A face photo.
ID photo, he'd probably get away with it pretty. I reckon he could.
Yeah, I agree. And then he also had his mum Maggie's credit card.
Yeah, that's right.
So he goes into the shop, buys 2 6-packs of beer. And
he had like slabs.
Oh, was it slabs?
Yeah,
Was it?
I feel like it was more than
Oh,
that.
but he lifts them up like this.
He does
in the
lift
video.
them up, but I don't know. They do like big. I don't know how they sell them in America
Okay.
because to me they felt like the cube packs of like not 6-packs.
Yeah, okay, so maybe it was more than a 6.
Yeah, I
two
feel like-
six-packs.
I mean, we
It was
sell
2
them-
packs of beer that he was carrying.
We sell them.
out.
We always say we sell them in 1 per hour a day. Like the 24 packs. Whereas I don't know what Americans sell them in. Like
I don't know.
whether they sell them in dozen lots and stuff or what.
Maybe
Maybe.
it was because
Maybe
I
it was-
feel like otherwise, how would you lift them up? Because what we're saying is, after he's bought them, he's walking back to their truck,
Woohoo, we've
and he's
got
like,
'em.
"Yeah, I got him!" Like,
Yeah.
because as you would, because you've just, as a 19-year-old bought beer.
See, I
that
find
you're
that
not
funny
allowed
as a
to buy for
19-year-old
years.
because that's more like what we do at 16.
Yeah. Don't tell our children.
Don't tell my mum.
I think she knows.
No.
And if she doesn't, so basically, they've gotten on the boat. They've had all their beers, and I think they were drinking the beers on the way to this oyster roast. So Paul was driving the boat. It's his boat or his dad's boat.
Yeah.
They get to the oyster roast, and they're there for quite some time, and they were imbibing the entire time. So apparently there were shots, there was beer, there were kegs, there was spirits, and they were all really, really drunk.
Yeah.
I think by the time it got to the point where they're like, all right, it's kind of time to go, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, Connor and Anthony, I believe it was actually Anthony suggested, instead of driving the boat home because they were all tanked, that maybe they should get an Uber.
Yeah.
And Paul was like, no, I'm not leaving my boat here.
Yeah.
We're going back on my boat. It's fine. I'm fine. I'll be able to do it. Anyway, I want to go to this other bar up the river, up the creek river.
Yeah.
And they were all like, oh, no, we just kind of want to go home. Like, yeah, right. So they all kind of reluctantly agree to go back in the boat.
This is where, like, I mean, we've all been in situations like this as, younger people doing things that are silly.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything comes out of this is where I hope people hear this story, young people, and go, yeah, don't get in that vehicle, whatever that vehicle is.
You should get in an Uber, you should get in an Uber. And if you don't have enough
take the
money to
pressure.
pay for that Uber, call your mum or your dad or your cousin or your sister or your mum's best friend.
Yep.
They will pay for an Uber for you.
Or they'll come and pick
Or
you
they'll
up.
come and get you.
I would rather a 2 a.m. phone call from my kid saying, come get me, and me managing that, than me getting a phone call from a hospital police officer because something else has happened.
1 million times
There
over.
is no, you make the phone call to your parent.
You make that call.
and there is no,
Or to your safe
you won't
adult.
get in trouble for how drunk you are at that point.
Yeah.
I just would rather that phone call.
I feel like the hangover would be enough.
Exactly.
Of a
Yeah, the punishments will come in other ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
So the 6 19-year-olds ish, they're all ish, get back in the boat and they go, I think it was like literally 5 minutes down the river to a river, to a pub that was a bar that was on the river.
Yeah.
So they've docked the boat and basically everyone bar Paul and Connor stay in the boat because they are.
2 of them walk. I think Mallory and Connor go like for a walk.
Mallory and
Oh,
Anthony.
and Anthony, sorry. Oh my God. Melanie and Anthony go for a walk along the pier kind of thing along the dock. Okay. I mean, because you can see them on CCTV.
That's true.
Whereas I know Morgan and
Miley
stay in the boat.
Yep.
And the other 2 go into the bar.
Yeah, so Connor and Paul go into the bar. Apparently they are there for like 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 shots each and then they go back out to the boat because I think everyone just wanted to get home. And so the fact that Paul even wanted to stop was pissing everyone off.
Yeah.
So what they say happens next is there is a bit of contention, but I think it's been proven now what actually happened through physics and
no contention there anymore.
Accident reconstruction and whatever.
Yeah.
In the boat, we have Connor and Paul at the steering wheel, but Paul is definitely behind the steering wheel. Connor is to the side of that.
Yeah.
In the back of the boat behind them, sitting on the floor of the boat, is Anthony and Mallory. Now, Mallory is sitting on Anthony's lap. She's scared. They're both scared. They're worried. They're holding on for dear life because Paul is... They're worried about him.
Yeah.
He can...
I should sort of say too, like, I mean, they were all drinking, all partaking.
all of them were
absolutely.
drunk. Yep.
But Paul particularly was more drunk than everyone else.
Yes.
He was, they called him Timmy when he got to this point. He had a different persona. He was
alter ego.
An alter ego, yeah, that he would pull out.
We all know people who, when they, there's all lovely when people are fun drunks. But we all know people who are not a fun drunk, and Paul was not a fun drunk.
He got really nasty and stupid.
Belligerent and combative.
Yeah, because, I mean, the other guys in the boat did say, let us drive. They felt that they were in more of a level to be able to drive, probably even themselves didn't want to with how much they drunk, but knew that they could manage it better than Paul could and would take it slower and easier.
Yeah.
Whereas Paul was doing loops around.
Well, apparently he started off from this dock.
Yeah.
So after they'd been and had these couple of shots, he started off quite slow. And so because in the front of the boat was Morgan and Miley. They were just sitting on a cooler that they'd had the beers in previously. Yes. So apparently at the start, he was driving quite slowly and everyone was like, okay, like this is good. Like we're happy with this. And then there was some argument or something happened between him and Connor.
Yeah, well, I think Connor was saying, do you think maybe I should drive?
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was about?
I think that was it, yeah.
And Paul's like, fuck this shit. And he's just done a Timmy and he's like, fuck this. And he's just put it full throttle, put the boat full throttle.
But one point in this too, he slapped his girlfriend. He slapped Morgan as well.
Yes.
Hit her. And said to her something like, it's really shit how your dad can't provide for your family. What?
Timmy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
What the fuck? I think because her mum was really good high level nurse, and so she might have maybe earned a bit more than her dad, did.
Oh my God.
So his a-hole rich family looking down on her. What a dick.
What a fucking dick.
Bet her family were far better than hers.
Well, you look at. Yeah, because I think her mum is a nurse at a prison.
Yeah, a nurse, a really high level nurse, kind of hardcore nurse.
Yeah. Like really amazing.
Yeah.
So, so basically Timmy, is now driving incredibly fast and very erratically. Now, 2 things to note here. The first thing to note is that the light on the boat was broken. Mm-hmm. The second thing to note is that so what I'm saying is they couldn't see where they were going.
No.
And these canals get more and more narrow the closer they get to the house or to where they dock the boat permanently.
Yeah.
And so, okay, fine. Maybe if he was speeding back at the start of where they were, it was a really big, wide body of water.
Yeah.
As it gets to the point where this happens, the accident happens. It's not an accident really when anyway.
Well,
the canals are so narrow.
Well, it's not only that it's narrow, it's actually the fact that because it's a bridge, there's pylons.
Yeah.
So to get through between the pylons, it was narrow.
Yeah.
So
and he's
I think
still
the
going
actual
at
river itself was still quite wide there.
Okay.
Wide enough, obviously, that, needed a bridge, like kind of stuff. But it wasn't that narrow at this point, but it was narrow to get through the pylons.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But what happened was because he was going so fast, we don't know if he didn't see the bridge in time or whether he just didn't give a shit and he just thought,
he kept telling them, I know this river better than anyone.
Like the back of my hand, I know how to navigate
it.
No, because he actually crashed into a pylon. Now, with the force of that, everyone bar Paul was thrown.
Connor.
And Connor were thrown from the boat.
I think actually only
Connor?
only Anthony and Mallory ended up in the water, and the others remained in the boat but injured. So I think maybe Morgan might have come out of the boat.
I think Morgan came out of the boat as well.
Yeah. So because Connor fell, and this is why they can prove that he wasn't driving.
Yeah.
He fell forward and onto some things on the front there where he ended up injured in the mouth, and he dislocated his jaw. So the way he fell onto some equipment, and the equipment got damaged in the boat as well, with how he forced full forward.
Yeah.
But obviously with the impact from the front, the boat's like tipped from at the back and thrown Mallory and Anthony out.
Yep.
So Anthony said he heard Mallory scream as they've both taken off into the water, but that's the last he heard from her. Morgan injured her hand, like actually her fingers were like degloved basically. I think.
So the boat crushed between.
Yeah.
So she was holding on to the outside of the boat.
Yeah.
Holding on for dear life, obviously.
Yeah.
And the boat actually, her hand was crushed between the boat and the concrete pylon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dick for Brains, Paul, who was driving, barely had much of an injury.
He didn't even have barely had a scratch on him.
Yeah. I can't remember what injuries Miley had.
I don't think she had anything too significant.
No, it wasn't too. I think she was pretty right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, God. So they immediately are like, Anthony comes up from out of the water, is like calling Mallory. They can't find her. I mean, you listen to the 911 call. It is
you can just hear everyone bar Paul, screaming for Mallory. And you can tell they're so desperate.
Yeah.
They're so desperate.
Anthony doesn't get out of the water. He stays in the water looking for her. Connor is the one who calls the police.
Yep.
He calls 911 on the bank and is begging people to come and explaining where they are. And you can hear fuckstick Paul in the background.
Well, he's saying to Paul, what bridge is this? Where are we? What bridge is it? And
it's Archer's,
Paul's like,
Archer's Creek Bridge, which they say there's only one bridge in Archer's Creek. We're under the bridge. We're under the bridge. Like, it's awful.
Awful.
Because you can hear the other three in the water
screaming
for Mallory.
Oh my God.
When the police and ambulance and everyone arrives on the scene to help look, etc., this is where things just turn real strange.
Don't they?
Real quick.
Don't they?
It's just so interesting. And there's body cam footage to back all this of what happened.
Of it up. It's all on video.
It's very, very, very body interesting. Yeah. So many things. The biggest one that just gets me at this scene is finally Anthony's sort of out of the water because there's other people searching. I think they actually dragged him out. He wouldn't get out. He wouldn't stop looking. But eventually he does get brought in to get checked himself for injuries. And he's there, and there's fucking Paul barely got clothes on, right?
Well, he'd gotten himself a bit naked back at the bar.
The actual bar. Like he's just like dickhead wandering around. And at a point, Anthony says to one of the cops, you hear him go, you see that guy over there who's half naked or whatever? Do you know who he is? That's Alec Murdoch's son.
Yeah, do you know Alec Murdoch? Yep.
Good luck. He knew that he was basically saying, he's done this. My girlfriend's lost, most likely dead. He's realising that. He knew that. And then he knew that it was Paul's fault, and there was never going to be any justice.
I agree with you. That is such an important moment in this.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens on this night that makes me go, oh my fucking Lord. Mm-hmm. So Anthony calls his mum and dad.
Yep.
And asks them to come down. Of course, they're there as soon as they can get there.
Yep. Paul's asking for a phone the minute he gets on the bank. He's trying to find because he's lost his phone.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs his phone.
That was really important to him to get a phone.
Needed a phone, because someone's got to clean up his mess.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony is able to get in contact with his mum and dad. Now, there's body cam footage of Anthony's mum, and she says, has anyone contacted
Mallory's family?
And the police officers say no. Well, actually, what the police officer says
is fucked up.
He's like, oh, we don't want to, get them all worried yet and have them come up here, and we don't know how they're going to act when they get here.
We don't want them here to cause issues.
Yeah, to cause issues. Now, she says, so Anthony's mum says, I'm not going to tell them. It is not even close to being her place to have to do that. Now, she is very close friends with them. But that is
Oh, she did exactly what I would do. I would be like, so who else? I don't want to make that call to that family.
Who's
Like,
going to tell her?
oh my God, someone has to tell them.
So eventually, Mallory's family are told.
But well after all the rest.
Well
are
after.
all well
they
after.
then come to the scene. And Mallory's mum and dad are divorced, but they both come. Mallory's mum, all she wants is to go down to the scene and have a look. Okay, so the police officers are not letting her. They're like, no, ma'am, it's an active scene. You cannot go down there. We cannot have anyone down there. With that, Maggie Murdoch and I believe it was John Marvin arrive in a black SUV and they are allowed to drive down
Go and get the boat.
to the scene.
They went and collected the boat.
Yep.
You mean the murder?
Hold on a minute. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. The boat that's got everyone's blood evidence, the windscreen's shattered or cracked at least.
They were allowed to go and get that out of the water and take it.
Yep.
This active scene that a parent couldn't go and even look at.
Yep. Now this active scene, right, is, how do we put this? Tampered with by a powerful family whose son was at the helm. Okay.
However.
The 5 remaining teenagers were taken to the local hospital.
Yep.
Okay.
They had to get Paul into an ambulance was a nightmare.
Timmy,
yeah, totally.
He was
Timmy.
being a total
he was being
fucking
a total
asshole.
dick, an absolute dick.
Belligerent little fucker.
They had to strap him in, he had to be restrained because he was that much of a dick. They didn't take a alcohol test at the scene. He did eventually get a phone and he was able to call. Who did he call?
He called.
Grandpa.
Well, he tried calling Alec first apparently, and he didn't answer.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh, I did hear that,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
he called Grandpa.
It was Grandpa.
Grandpa has then mobilised the troops.
He's contacted Randall. He's contacted John Marvin and Alec. Got them all, and so by the time they get to the hospital with little Timmy,
and the other
and the rest of them.
Yep.
In walks Alec with Randall, with his dad, as well as I think John Marvin and the has been deployed elsewhere, and Maggie and Randall Jr. Oh God, Junior, Senior. God, it gets hard.
Yeah,
the uncle of Paul.
Yeah,
the other uncle. So the two uncles and Maggie has sort of been deployed to the scene, whereas I think, and then Alec and Grandpa have gone to the hospital. Now, I just find this absolutely
I can't even.
Absolutely, honestly, the most disgusting thing ever. To think that they could walk in to that scene and behave the way they did with zero ramifications.
But also, where's the privacy?
Oh.
How the fuck did they know that even that those other kids were at that hospital? Honestly, that should not have been known information to them. The fact that they went into their room.
He just walked, they were literally doing surgery on Morgan at the time.
Yep.
And he just walked in going, oh no, I'm her lawyer. Don't talk to anyone, Morgan. Trying to tell her what to do.
As she's
she's
under.
having serious surgery on her hand. Yeah. What the fuck?
Having just probably witnessed her best friend's death.
Yeah. Yeah. And her boyfriend is the one who's culprit for this. I mean, how bloody distressing is all of it?
All of it.
And then he has the balls to walk in there and dictate and tell people what to do.
But what he was trying to do...
The nurse apparently totally told him to fuck off.
Yeah, good on her.
Yeah.
But apparently what he told them all was, Connor was driving, right? Connor was driving. You tell them that Connor was driving and I'll take care of the rest.
But there is video footage, body cam footage at the scene where it's spoken about by all of them, all the kids. I say kids,
19-year-olds, yeah.
But all those that were on the boat commenting about Paul being the driver.
Yep.
So it's this is
far gone, mate.
Far gone.
You think you're being clever, you're an absolute fuckwit.
But then the fact that he goes into Connor. And he says to him in the hospital, who he's got full
it's bad.
bad. You can see he's got scars to this day on his jaw. His jaw was dislocated. He was in pain. So he goes into him and says to him, he tells him to say that he was the driver and don't worry, we'll take care of you. Well, you're not taking care of him because you're telling him to lie.
Yep. But that's how they weasel their way out of this shit. They are so fucked up.
It's so disgusting.
They're so fucked up.
I mean,
it's just it is
trying to
absolutely
pin this
disgusting.
on some other young kid is just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. While they were at the hospital, because Timmy was so belligerent
Yeah.
and so uncooperative,
Yeah.
thankfully the hospital took a blood alcohol blood sample.
Yes.
And it was analysed at being 3 times the legal limit, 0.24. Now, he shouldn't have been drinking at all. He wasn't of legal drinking
No.
age. He shouldn't have been operating a boat.
So even if he was old enough, he was
He was
not.
3, that's
Three
right. He was
times the
3
legal
times the
limit.
legal limit to
Yes.
be operating that boat.
Oh, it's just disgusting.
Yeah. It's really, really horrific.
Yeah.
So
They're back at the scene though. They still don't find Mallory. I mean, I think it takes them about a
7,
week.
literally, I think it was on the 8th day. So it was like
Yeah.
7 days of searching.
They finally find her body, which is just so distressing that it
Yeah.
takes that long for them to find her. I mean, in that time, I can just imagine as a family that they're thinking, you know, trying to stay hopeful that she's going to be okay, but you just know that that's not possible too.
Did you find it really interesting in the documentary where her mum is interviewed and she's like, you know, it didn't really occur to us at the time, but like, why didn't they ping her Apple Watch?
Yep.
Why, like there were things that
Find my
like,
Apple Watch or something could have been a thing. Yeah.
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 And she said, you know, there are things that I look back on now, and of course you can't think critically when your daughter's missing. Like that wasn't
God.
on her to think about that.
No.
But I'm like, you just think about that situation. I think to myself, gee, I wonder whether someone was like, let's ping her Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And that was maybe, what's the word? Poo-pooed? Like as in, did someone go, oh, no,
But I
we
guess
won't
at that
do
point it wouldn't have
that."
mattered when they found her
but,
or where.
But
like,
Alec says at the hospital,
Yeah.
he's overheard by a security guard on the phone, and he says to someone, "Don't worry, that she still hasn't been found." So I think he was hoping that
she
she
wouldn't
would
be?
never be found.
well, I mean, she's going to turn up. Bodies, I mean, they do turn up. This is the thing.
Was he hoping that he'd find it first?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I do get what you mean. I hadn't thought of it in that way. Oh.
because if there's no body, like
like
I don't know, would they then be able to spin some other kind of? I don't
that
know.
maybe
They
she
would
gone
like a bit of
missing.
reasonable doubt in there or something.
maybe without a body, I don't know what the law is in,
Well,
in
that's
that
what I'm thinking,
county,
like,
like
is
kind of
it-
thing of like, yeah, is there a legal field where you can't charge him with murder if there's no body? Maybe.
There's something in that.
Yeah,
I
it's
think I really
potentially.
truly think that. But anyway, so they
Yeah.
haven't found her body for 7 days, but thankfully, I think it was actually volunteers who found her body.
Yeah, because I mean, they found
volunteer
once they
searchers.
did find her body, her injuries. She was immediately hit her head as she exited the boat, so she was unconscious when she hit the water, which meant that she then drowned. So like there was no matter whether they'd found her 5 seconds after she'd gone in or not. Unfortunately,
She wouldn't
have survived. So that's the only comfort you can take in this of like not finding her sooner is that it wouldn't have mattered, unfortunately. Like that's awful. But yeah, not nice you would have wanted to have found her immediately.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so incredibly sad. And
Disgusting.
I can't imagine how her family has gotten through it. I
No.
really don't.
The thing with this then is like that's the night of this occurring is such a fucking shit show. It's, you know, and I think blind Freddie, you know, someone is liable for this and he should be charged, you'd think, right?
Yep.
No. So long goes by.
He's not even interviewed.
Nope.
As the driver of the vessel, he is not even interviewed.
This just highlighted so much of how their influence
And power.
had over law enforcement and all these things. It was just horrific.
Yeah.
And I applaud the young people involved in this, the other 4 people who survived.
Yep.
They have not backed down. They have come forward and spoken. They haven't covered up for him and they haven't done what Alec told them to do. They were had a complete conviction to be like, no, that's not what happened. And I'm not letting my friend Anthony now go down or Connor to go down for this, and all these things. They all loved Mallory. Like she was a beautiful person and they knew this was tragic that happened. To then have these assholes come into this and go, we're going to change the narrative of her death is so wrong.
Yep.
And I'm glad they all stuck to their guns on that and we're like, nah, fuck off. We're not falling for your bullshit.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think we were talking about Morgan's relationship with Paul. And I think there were several instances that happened. And she says in the documentary that she was young. She didn't really know that wasn't right.
She said words that I think anyone who's been in an abusive relationship lives for and clings to, is that she said the good times were good. There were bad times that weren't so good, and they were pretty bad when they were bad, but the good stuff was really good. And so she was convinced by those good moments that those bad things would go away, you know, and that they weren't as important. But unfortunately, how you can have more good times than bad times, but if those bad times are what was going on, that's not healthy.
Oh,
that's
God,
not
no.
okay.
There were so many instances, but there were just sort of a couple that I thought I would bring up. So on the night of Buster's graduation, I think it was his high school graduation, not because obviously he never actually graduated from university.
Yeah.
Paul was really, really drunk and he choked her and she kind of fought back, and then apparently he sucker punched her so hard in her knee. I don't know what damage was done, but damage was done.
Yeah.
Like, it was so violent.
Her telling these stories on that doco just break me.
Yep. This other one, and this is like where I'm like, oh yes, the family have got a lot of practice in covering shit up. In 2017, Paul and Morgan were in a car.
Yes.
Or in Paul's pickup truck.
Yeah.
And he drove the truck into a ditch. He was drunk as fuck. When Morgan tried to call 911.
Well, she did. She called 911.
Did it actually connect, did it?
Yeah.
Paul basically slapped the phone out of her hand, didn't he?
I think,
and
yeah.
then he hung up. Yes, actually, no, you're right. It did connect because he then hung up the 911 call.
Yeah.
And he used that phone to call his grandfather. Grandpa then contacted Alex and Maggie, and they all showed up to clear out, literally, Morgan says it was like a swift operation.
Yep.
They got in there, they cleared out all the beer cans and the guns that were in his truck.
Yeah.
And moved them all along.
And told her off for calling 911.
Oh, yeah, she got into trouble for calling 911.
Big time.
Why did you do that?
She got a real scolding for doing that.
Because we were in an accident.
Yeah. I mean,
our truck was in a ditch. Like, what the fuck else were we meant to do? Like, that was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Morgan actually has said that the only good thing to come out of Mallory's death is that, and because Mallory and Miley were all over her saying she needs to break up with Paul.
Yeah.
This is so awful. But she says that Mallory saved her life.
Yeah.
And I absolutely believe it.
I fully do as well.
That Mallory's death what that did was that it showed that she needed to get out of that relationship, and she has stuck to it and gone out of it.
Yeah, he begged her. He
tried to get back with her.
He tried so hard to get back to her.
Yeah.
That
just kills me.
It's horrific.
Yeah,
but it just goes, like, I think this incident with the truck in the ditch, not only the hubris of him drinking and driving with his girlfriend in the car is, that's one thing. The fact that his family then swoop in to save the day,
it all up,
there's no consequences
so
for this
enabled,
man, of this young man.
Well, she said that her family would have a drink and things like that, but she said she'd never seen drinking, even just in general, until she was in their family home. She said it was just, there was always wine on the table.
But
there
also
was always,
the kids
participated
kids were encouraged to drink.
With that. Yeah. She said she was, handed a glass of wine when she'd arrived, underage, etc. And she'd never experienced that before. It would just be really, I mean, she was in a whole different world to what she'd grown up in.
Yeah.
Not to say that they were very welcoming to her, but at the same time, I think they were trying to groom her to be, potentially, I guess, Paul's future partner for life, that she had to fall in line then with certain things. But they all knew too that Paul was not a good guy, because back when he was a kid, he used to kill animals.
Yes.
Red flag number 1, tick.
Tick. It's very. I mean, they were hunters as well, but we're talking about.
No, but he would. Yeah,
this is actually like not shooting animals for sport, which I just can't even anyway.
No,
but this is like actually causing, harm to animals that they weren't hunting.
Yeah, yeah.
And the family, again, knew about it and allowed it.
Yeah. The only person I think that knew it and allowed it, but at the same time at least warned, was Gloria. Gloria at least had the foresight. She did say to Morgan, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
And she told her about these things when he was a kid, of how he would do these things to animals and stuff. And she said, I just don't think that he's someone you should date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good advice.
Yeah.
So the other thing then is that eventually Paul was charged for this.
Yes.
So he was charged for I've got it written down somewhere, but he was charged for, I think, 2 counts of operating of a BUI, so boating under the influence, resulting in grievous bodily harm.
Yep.
And 1 count of operating a boat under the influence causing death.
Yes.
So the hand injury and the Connor's jaw injury were the grievous bodily harm.
Yeah.
And then obviously Mallory's death.
Yes.
Now,
that court hearing was a little bit interesting though.
wasn't it? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, the interesting thing of it was that if anyone else was charged with those things, they might have been charged and like held in remand.
In custody, 100%.
They're in custody.
Yep.
Whereas that never happened for him. He rocked in his shirt and tie and sat down and did what he needed to do, signed the paperwork of like what his plea was, kind of thing, of like what they were going to move forward to next, and then walked out and back home again in his shirt and tie. No.
Anyone else?
I think bail was something like $5,000. Like
I think it was 70 grand, but it was nothing.
Nothing for that
for
family.
them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Whatever
that family,
it was
nothing.
probably the equivalent if it was $5,000 for us. It was the equivalent of what was pittance in terms of like a bail.
Yeah.
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 It was a joke.
An absolute joke.
His bail should have been $2 million minimum, I reckon.
Apparently, as he was arrested, right, for
Yeah.
the first interview that he actually eventually did, which was years later. I think it was 2 years later.
Yeah, it was 2 years later.
Years.
Yeah.
Apparently, as he was walking out, like after he'd been arrested,
Yeah.
Alex says to him, "We're going to be all right. Just keep your mouth shut and tell them you don't know who was driving."
Oh my God.
Sorry, at what point are you going to make your 19, now 21-year-old son accountable for his actions? I'm all for protecting our kids. I think as a parent, that's your natural instinct. But there comes a point where you cannot do that.
No.
They have to understand the consequences of their actions. And I assume that Paul has never had to deal with the consequence of any action, any negative action that he's ever, perpetrated before.
God, no. Well, I mean, even on that documentary that you see like where the others who now, they don't have any relationship with him, and like they were like best friends, and they're like, I cannot with you. He was very much, Paul was like, oh, we just carry on, like, but they were, nope, I can't. I'm really pissed at you. I think it was I don't know, it gets me a bit where I think it was Anthony who said like, I'll always love him. He was my best mate, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that
there's
entirely.
Footage then, like
but
Paul just moved on to like another group of people who wanted to drink with him and be in his
Snapchats
presence.
of him like drinking the same way he was drinking. Like there's absolutely no like, hey, maybe I need to make some changes in my life. No. And I think that's where like Anthony was kind of getting at this point of like, if he had seen Paul take accountability and seen Paul make changes in his life, he could have supported that.
Yep.
But he can't support a dick who just literally has no accountability for his actions still.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that's a product of his upbringing. Like he's never had to change his behaviour before, so it probably never even occurred to him that he needed to change.
And this, I mean, we'll get into probably this a bit more next week, but like there is so much in that in terms of generationally where this has come from. I mean, I don't know if you read about now it must have been his grandfather. Something occurred and he put in an obituary for his wife, Libby.
Yep.
She wasn't dead.
She wasn't dead. And someone...
It was a threat of like what's to come if you continue to do that.
She was at a shop or something the next day and someone was like, I saw an obituary for you in the paper this morning.
Because that was back in the day when that was like where everyone looked for those things.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
And she was like, well, I'm clearly not dead, but I probably need to be worried.
these sacks of shit.
Yeah. So this is as you said, this is a generational thing. They think they're above the law. They think they can. I mean, you can't threaten your fucking wife. For fuck's
does
sake.
that?
Who does that?
Who fucking does that? And then stays with the piece of shit and lives with him and oh my God. Because I think it was, early-ish days of them being married. I don't know. I can't remember what year it was that it happened.
I think they had some young kids.
They had young children?
Yeah, I think so.
It was just, oh my God, no, get out. Oh my God, that piece of shit will kill you.
Yeah.
And he'll cover it up.
Yep.
Which she did. She was still around.
Oh,
She was there, well, up till, the next bit we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
she was alive then. So, but oh my God.
yeah. But that was just a little warning to her.
Oh, 100%. It's a threat, even more than a warning. It's a full-blown threat.
Yeah, he would have seen it as a warning.
Oh. God.
So just in Mallory's honour, she was 19 years old. She loved rescue dogs.
Yeah.
She had her whole life ahead of her and she was such a beautiful human being. I think there was a video of her on one of the documentaries that I watched from when she was a little girl and she said she wanted to be a vet.
Oh, yep.
But I think, she was looking into, other careers and, how unfair.
Oh, this is
How
it.
unfair. But guys, never get into a car where someone's been drinking, a car, a boat, any vehicle where a person's been drinking.
Follow your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
And I bet you the remaining 4 at least really regret.
Oh,
not doing
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Imagine living with that for the rest of your life.
This is it. That's it. That's the thing. I don't know what's worse, to be honest. Like the fact, losing someone's life is just absolutely horrendous. But living through that and living with that knowledge of that occurrence would just be hell as well. So you don't want to be either part in that.
No. I think this is probably a good point to leave it.
Yep.
And we'll come back next week and there's so much more to discuss and then we can actually tie it all together too.
Literally only halfway through this.
Yeah.
Literally, there is more to this story which just is so fucked up.
So fucked up. All right, well, please come back next week. We would love to have you for the conclusion of this batshit crazy story.
Yep.
And thank you for joining us again today. We really appreciate everyone.
Absolutely. Just a quick reminder that we are not on TikTok anymore. We've been banned. Come join us over on Instagram and have a chat over there about what our first week of this episode, this story of the Murdochs has brought and what you think of what we've spoken about so far before we get into part 2 next week. Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.